Nabulime and her father ended up in the kingdom of Alina, in the village named Si, where the sun's embrace was as warm as the smiles of its people. Born under the star-dotted sky, Nabulime'S skin still glowed with an ethereal light, a gift that made her the village's ray of hope. She hummed ancient lullabies when deep in thought, a quirk inherited from her mother, and though she healed many, she secretly feared the dark, a reminder of the night she fled her first home. With nothing more than the clothing on their backs and hope, Nabulime and her father landed in the new village called Si. Curious looks were directed at them at first, but soon they felt the warmth of the community surrounding them. With expert carpentry skills, her father started making furniture that embodied the beauty and strength of the acacia trees that dotted the village. Nabulime, with her healing glow and touch, quickly became the village's beacon of well-being because of her remedies and care, soothing diseases and healing people. Together, they cultivated a small plot of land, enticing the earth to yield bountiful harvests that fed both their bodies and souls. Their successes were many. Mr. Kagwa's furniture became sought after by neighboring villages, and Nabulime's magical reputation grew with each sunrise. Chiwa first appeared in their story during this period of their abundant life, and his laughter quickly became a recognizable note in their everyday existence. Nabulime's life was then intertwined with Chiwa, a basket weaver with dreams larger than the movable trees. The youngest of 7, he yearned to be seen, his heart a wild drumbeat mimicking the calls of birds. Poverty was his biggest problem, but he aspired to build a grand house for his family, a sanctuary from the hardships of life. Nabulime's glow, now a symbol of hope and healing, drew Chiwa in, and before long their hearts began to beat to the same rhythm, harmonious and full of promises. But as fate would have it, Chiwa's love life was as tangled as the vines in the jungle. He had another woman, or let us say girlfriend, that he did not tell Nabulime about when he was courting her. Zara, the village's golden and very big and tall lady, and Chiwa's girlfriend had more money than the village well had wishes, and Chiwa was drawn to her like a moth to a flame, or in his case, like a broke man to a buffet. Zara, 10 years older than Chiwa, a woman whose beauty was matched only by her wealth, orphaned young, sought control through riches and magic. Her blue necklace served as a symbol of her strength. She feared the loss of her status as much as the loneliness that accompanied it, dreaming of a love that saw beyond her extravagance. Zara, with her sharp eyes for shiny things, saw Chiwa's charm and thought, why not? So she showered him with gifts that sparkled and shone. And Chiwa, who couldn't afford a mirror, or let's say in Luganda, omwavu lunkupe, suddenly found himself reflecting the sun. Chiwa Wasan, the other hand, also smitten by Nabulime, the girl who glowed and who could find her way in the dark without a flashlight. He told her tales of a future together as bright as her complexion, and Nabulime, bless her radiant heart, believed him. So there was our Chiwa, juggling 2 hearts, one that came with a bank account, and another that came with its own natural spotlight. With Zara, he lived like a king on a budget, wearing clothes so fine they made the village goats jealous. And with Nabulime, he found a love so refreshing he never needed to drink water again. But, as they say, you can't ride 2 bicycles at once, especially if one is made of gold and the other is powered by starlight. Chiwa's heart swung back and forth, trying to balance on the tightrope of love and luxury. He made up so many lies to hide his cheating life to each of them that he could not even remember the following day. It was a circus act that would make any clown proud, and before long, Chiwa found himself in the most peculiar love triangle, with one foot in a pot of gold and the other in a pool of light. It was a funny situation if you weren't the one walking the tightrope. After months of this double relationship, and as they say, a thief has 40 days, Zara's friend Nita saw Chiwa with Nabulime embracing in the path that led to the well one evening. She ran and told Zara. Zara told her female friends, and before a few weeks passed, almost everyone in the village was whispering about Chiwa the cheater and referring to Nabulime as the boyfriend snatcher. At first, Zara decided to play it cool and did not say anything to Chiwa or to Nabulime, but behind the silence, a storm was about to explode. Jealousy had consumed Zara's heart, and she turned to witchcraft for solace. With her intentions hidden, she followed the shadowed route to the huts of the local witches. Zara was jealous of Nabulime and wanted to win back Chiwa. After a few months, she went in secret to the witch doctors and asked them for local medicines to remove Nabulime's glow and make Chiwa hate her. The sorcerers attempted to aid her in exchange for money by concocting spells and potions. They created mixtures with dubious potency, their eyes bright with the prospect of wealth. With wicked smiles, they handed Zara the dark bottles and chanted spells over rough roots. With these, the girl's light will start to dim and her spirit will diminish, and eventually she will die, they told her. Under the cloak of night, she crept to the edge of the village where the witch doctors had given her a potion, a dark liquid that bubbled with a sinister energy. Zara poured the potion into a small clay pot and buried it beneath Nabulime's window. After seating on it as she was told, a lot of smoke started coming out. She said to herself in Luganda,
Lira Widdi.
translated as she's finished today, as she walked hurriedly to her huge mansion. Nabulime was awakened by a strong burning in her eyes, a high fever and a terrible headache. She called out to her father, asking for water and some medicine as she shivered. Nevertheless, that night, mysteriously, the clay pot was drawn into the old wood of the enormous muvule tree near her window by the roots that coiled around it. The tree began to glow softly, dispelling the potion's effect. Nabulime's fever slowly faded, and the headache was no more. Early in the morning, after she had woken up, she only found a fresh sprout at the foot of the muvule tree, indicating that life always finds a way, even in the face of gloom. On the second occasion, Zara crafted a charm from the feathers of a crow, believing it would cloud Nabulime's mind and weaken her spirit. She gave Nabulime's father's maid money and told her to place the charm under Nabulime's bed, chanting wicked words to seal the enchantment. That night, as Nabulime lay sleeping, she dreamt of a clear blue sky and a river flowing free. In the dream, a gentle breeze carried the charm away, scattering it to the winds. Nabulime woke with a sense of peace, her glow undimmed. She stepped outside to see the villagers gathered, looking up in amazement as a flock of doves flew above, and their white feathers a stark contrast to the crow's dark charm that had vanished. The doves circled above Nabulime, cooing softly, a reminder that for every shadow cast, there is light to chase it away. All this time, Nabulime did not know that someone was trying to harm her through witchcraft. She went on her everyday life and relationship with Chiwa. Zara's attempts to dim Nabulime's radiance only served to strengthen the bond between her and Chiwa. Zahra worked tirelessly to continue bewitching Nabulimai, her fingers dancing like fireflies, but she failed. She turned to Chiwa and wove spells into her fabric, and also in his food, hoping to bind Chiwa's heart to hers. But love, like the river, flowed where it pleased. When Nabulime's laughter echoed across the water, Chiwa's eyes followed its melody. So one weekend, there was a festival at the village market, and Zahra invited Chiwa to come along. Chiwa, wanting to make sure that Nabulime was not going, pretended to invite her to come with him to the village market. To his relief, she said no, and explained she had work to do that was urgent. Chiwa then accepted Zahra's invitation with the knowledge that the two women will not meet. However, at the last minute, Nabulime's father convinced her to go with him, and they set off to the market. Nabulime showed up with her father, and as soon as she saw Chiwa, she ran to him and held his hand. Then Zahra saw them. She stopped walking and stood in the center of the market, her figure commanding attention. Now, the day everyone in the village had been whispering about had finally arrived. Nabulime and Zahra, two women from different worlds, stood face to face in the village market. The air was heavy, filled with whispers and stares from the gathered crowd. It was the moment of truth. Zahra wore the finest garments, each stitch a testament to her wealth. Her jewelry clinked melodically with each step she took. Her face, usually a calm sea of confidence, was now a storm of fury. Her eyes, which had before been the calm color of the dusk sky, suddenly blazed with lightning. She became furious. She had now confirmed that Chiwa, the man she thought was hers alone, had given his heart to another. Her voice was loud and shaking with anger as she pointed at Nabulime. You, Malaya, translated as you prostitute, you've stolen Chiwa from me with your strange evil glow and pretentious sweet voice. The villagers gathered with concern and curiosity. They watched as the drama unfolded, as the woman of wealth and the woman of light stood on the cliff of confrontation. Nabulime, with the dignity of a queen and the gentleness of a dove, faced Zahra. Her glow, dimmed by the shadows of deceit, flickered with the resilience of a flame in the wind. In that quiet, between heartbeats, the reality of Chiwa's heart was to be revealed for all to see. Nabulime, the girl who healed with her hands and whose skin shone with a mysterious light, stood her ground. She wasn't afraid. Her voice was calm and clear, cutting through the tension like a knife. Zahra, I've stolen nothing. Chiwa's heart is not a prize to be won. He makes his own choices, just as we do. The villagers watched, holding their breath. It was like watching a play, the kind where you don't know whether to cheer or cry. Chiwa, caught between the two women, looked down at his feet, his heart heavy with guilt. Chiwa, now torn between his love and his mistakes, watched in silence. His heart ached with regret, the realization of his betrayal etching lines of sorrow upon his face. Chiwa stood in front of everyone, feeling guilty. He looked at Nabulime, who was hurt but still strong, and Zahra, who was fuming. Zahra immediately left the market with anger, hoping Chiwa would follow, but he didn't. He remained next to Nabulime, asking her for her forgiveness. Nabulime only looked at him with disgust and quickly moved to her father, and they also left the marketplace. Chiwa knew he had to make things right. The weeks that followed saw Chiwa asking Nabulime for forgiveness. He told her wanted to be with her, with love as their only wealth, and that he has decided to leave Zara. After some time, Nabulime forgave him, and they resumed their relationship. Mr. Kagwa, Nabulime's father, however, warned him, saying,
Nabulime, my child, although it is good to forgive, don't forget that once a cheater, always a cheater. He cheated on Zara with you, and he will do the same to you.
But Nabulime ignored him, and before months passed, Nabulime told the father that Chiwa proposed, and she said yes, and that she was ready to get married. As the moon completed its cycle, for the 12th time since Zahra's first visit to the witches, a change came over her. She became tired of trying in vain to change Chiwa's love for Nabulime, and her willpower broke. She realized that the struggle she was engaged in was against fate itself, an artwork crafted by hands older and more knowledgeable than she was. One evening, as the village gathered around the fire, Zara stepped forward. The flames danced in her eyes as she confessed her deeds to the assembly. "I have walked a path of envy and malice," she declared, her voice trembling with the weight of her admission. "I sought to harm Nabulime for a man, but I was wrong, and for that I seek forgiveness." The villagers, stunned into silence, looked to Nabulime. Nabulime spoke. "Zara, your journey has been one of shadows, but it is never too late to step into the light." As the village pondered this turn of events, a strange occurrence befell them. The sky, which had been clear moments before, began to toss with clouds. A wind, warm and scented with the fragrance of distant lands, swept through the gathering. And then, from the heavens, a shower of luminescent petals began to fall, blanketing the village in an embroidery of light and color. A few weeks after this event, the village of Si was buzzing with excitement. The air was filled with the scent of roasting meats and sweet fruits as preparations for the grand wedding of Nabulime and Chiwa was underway. Chiwa's family, known for their exquisite pottery, had crafted beautiful clay pots and plates as gifts for the guests. His mother, Amamu, wove a magnificent tapestry that told the story of the couple's journey, a tale of love, light, and forgiveness. The whole village pitched in. They decorated the streets with vibrant fabrics and flowers, and the sound of drumming and singing filled the air. It was to be the wedding of the century, a celebration of unity and joy. But fate had other plans. A month before the wedding, Kagwa, Nabulime's beloved father, fell gravely ill. His breath became shallow, and his once strong voice was now a whisper. The local healers were confused. They had never seen an illness like this. The only hope was a healer in a distant kingdom, known for her ability to cure the incurable. Nabulime's heart was torn. The wedding was so close, yet her father's life hung in the balance. She made the difficult decision to postpone the wedding and take her father to the healer. Chiwa, his heart heavy with worry, wanted to accompany her, but his family needed him. The marketplace was his responsibility, and without him, their livelihood would suffer. He also knew that he had to finish the preparations for the wedding, to ensure that everything would be perfect for Nabulime's return. "Let's get married now," Chiwa pleaded, his eyes filled with a mix of fear and love. "We can have a simple ceremony, just you and me." But Nabulime shook her head. "I want a celebration that the whole village will remember, a day when my father can see us joined in happiness. We will wait, and the spirits will keep us strong until then." Chiwa understood, but it didn't ease the ache in his chest. He watched, a frown creasing his brow, as Nabulime prepared for the journey. She was determined. her glow steady as she helped her weakened father onto the cart. As Nabulime and Kagwa disappeared over the horizon, the villagers whispered prayers for their safe return. Chiwa turned back to the empty streets, the wedding decorations fluttering in the silent breeze, and vowed to keep the home fires burning until the day he could call Nabulime his wife. The journey was long, and the pain of the cancelled wedding lingered like morning fog for Nabulime. Chiwa, left behind, was a portrait of remorse. He realized the depth of his love for Nabulime, a love that had been tested and found true. Upon reaching the new kingdom, a secret as old as the stars lay waiting to be uncovered. A revelation awaited Nabulime. First, her father, who had faked his illness, confessed his trick. He told Nabulime that he had seen the shadows of doubt in Chiwa's heart and sought to protect her from a man who had once betrayed her. Nabulime could not believe her father's words. She remained silent, and tears started flowing from her eyes. She was very far away from Si and from Chiwa, and she knew she would not run back to him or disobey her father. Now, the suspense of their next chapter hung in the air like the promise of rain. As she stood in the bright sunshine one morning in this new kingdom of Mulesa, a stranger tall and handsome and wearing royal regalia walked towards her smiling. Now, dear listener and viewers, will Nabulime's glow lead her to new beginnings, or are there more mysteries in this new kingdom that await? Will Chiwa go back to Zara if Nabulime does not return on time? Only time will tell. Until the final episode, thank you so much for watching and listening. Please remember to subscribe and comment on how you think this story will end. Be so blessed.